there any practice areas in Canada that are more favorable to foreign trained lawyers? I certainly think that foreign experience and international experience can be beneficial. I don't know if any area is more favorable or not, but it really depends on your previous experience. But having a diverse skill set and a diverse background can certainly be helpful in certain practice areas. So let me just dive into it. First practice area I would say would be international trade. If you have been practicing in a different country and have experience in international law, given Canada's involvement in global trade, if you have experience in cross-border transactions, international trade agreements, or anything of this sort, I think this area can be very favorable to foreign trained lawyers because you bring a skill set that is very necessary to practice this area. So I have not practiced international trade. I did a master's in international business law. So as part of my master's, I did take a course on international trade. I did not find I didn't find it very interesting. I think international trade is one of those classes where I just did not know how to concentrate. But if you are someone who is interested in that area and have the skill set, it can definitely be helpful in finding your role as a lawyer in Canada. An area I would say would be human rights law. Again, it's one of those areas where if you have a diverse background, you have worked with nonprofit organization or NGOs, or if you are just able to also talk about some of the human rights issues in the country that you're from, or just generally in the continent that you're from, or just, overall human rights, you can compare different jurisdictions or compare how, different countries deal with human rights regulations or laws. That's also an area that can be very beneficial. So if you are interested in that, human rights law, I think can be a rewarding career. But some of the things that I've heard, and I haven't practiced this area, I remember taking a class as part of my master's. It's a very interesting area, but I don't know in terms of practical, making money and all of that stuff. I don't know how rewarding it is in terms of the financial, reward that you're going to get out of it. I know some people who practice human rights law, and that's something that I've heard from them. But it's definitely an area if you're interested in and you have the experience, if you worked at an NGO or if you worked in different countries, just, you're very passionate about these issues, you can definitely look into it. Third area I would say would be corporate law with a focus on international business law, mergers and acquisitions, and just basic corporate law. Why do I say that? So I did my law practice program placement at an organization where I was practicing corporate law. And corporate law is I don't want to say that it's all the same, but basic things like international business, if you want to review international agreements, contracts, some of the things are very basic, and it's similar to how you practice in, I don't know, if you've been working for international transactions, it may be similar. The other thing, mergers and acquisitions, I believe I worked on an acquisition when I was a student, just due diligence stuff, and I have noticed that people from other countries who also work on something like that, they kind of know they're familiar with what steps are, and it's sort of very similar. Again, I don't want to say that it's the exact same. Again, there are differences, but I have noticed that it's kind of like the same. So corporate law is also an area that you can look into, and if you have experience, I think that may be very valuable. The last areas that I would say would be alternate dispute resolution, so ADR. I know that this is one area that's sort of very popular in some other countries. Again, with alternate dispute resolution, I feel like there are skills, if you have experience in your own home country, that will be beneficial if you wanted to step into that area. Again, negotiation, how to come to a settlement, how to resolve conflict. These are just basic skills that you probably have if you've done it in your home country. ADR, again, I took this as a course as part of my master's, and I definitely enjoyed it. And I tried to apply for some jobs in this specific area. I ended up working as a student for a couple months I remember 2 to 3 months, but then I didn't end up finding anything in this area. But it's very interesting because it's something new, it's something exciting, it's an alternate to dispute resolution. Also find that alternate dispute resolution has also taught me how to resolve conflicts in real life. So, I mean, these are skills that you can take on and also implement in your daily life. The last area that I would say, I think immigration law is also something that, you can probably relate to the client more than anyone else. Because if you are an immigrant and if you also moved, you understand what immigration means to you. And as a lawyer, you're in your client's shoes and you know what they feel and how they're feeling. Of course, you can get that from experience too. You don't have to move to be a good immigration lawyer. But all I'm saying is that because it's your personal experience, you're able to just easily put yourself into the client's shoes. Sometimes I find that with my work as an immigration lawyer, I can certainly understand why clients sometimes can freak out, or why clients sometimes want things fast, or why are they nervous, because it's just, been there, done that. I can completely understand the stress. So, this is also an area if you're interested and you want to help people move, I think, it's a good area. The things that I struggled with is that rather than really understanding my unique experiences and my unique skill set, I was focused more on becoming something that, an employer would want, which is fine. I mean, there has to be a balance, but you have to also understand the unique skill set that you bring in, and then also what employer requirements are, and you have to blend it as opposed to just focusing on one. I struggled with that in the beginning. Now, having practiced for a couple of years, I find that I'm able to blend it more. And I'm tilting more towards the side of, okay, what are more of my unique skill sets? So it's something to look into, and just finding that balance, I feel like, is very important. And I hope this was helpful, and I will see you in my next video.